The world of video gaming is more expansive than ever. Where players were once limited to what was accessible at an arcade, they are now able to experience a vast array of styles and mechanics. However, an unfortunate side effect of this gaming revolution has been a loss of exposure for the genres that started it all. While they may not be as graphically impressive as AAA studio projects, or as multiplayer friendly as the ever popular online battle royale, side-scrolling brawlers still are just as fun as they were decades ago. Attempting to prove this is the arcade crew's Young Souls, a 2D beat-em-up that exemplifies how entertaining the basics can still be. Of course, Young Souls isn't just a brawler, it's also a surprisingly immersive, story-rich RPG that's sure to pull its audience in quickly. The beauty of the game lies in the way it mixes the two concepts, resulting in a relatively simplistic combat system that feels complex at the same time. Most of the action, which sees two adventurous teenagers doing sword and sorcery battles against hordes of goblins, darkly magical creatures, is fairly standard. Players can perform regular sword attacks, heavy sword attacks, and block with their shields. This feels a bit repetitive at first, and knowledge gained from the initial tutorial will only get a player so far before bigger baddies and more powerful adversaries start to test their patience. Luckily, progressing through the story unlocks new abilities and purchasable upgrades that slowly begin to diversify gameplay. Eventually, useful tips and tricks like parrying and well-placed rolling dodge will allow the player to do more and get further in accomplishing their tasks. Including RPG elements in the progression system is a really charming way of keeping the player invested and varying the game's overall experience. Between dungeon raids and evil library ROMs, the two protagonists can make their way towards town via countryside cruises on their moped. Once there, they have the ability to enter several buildings and locations, most of which serve a purpose in developing the characters and their stat lines. Gameplay aside, Young Souls features an original story that is unexpectedly captivating. Pitched against a backdrop of strikingly bubblegum animation, it tells the tale of the two aforementioned leads as they set out to quell the conflict between a hidden fantasy world and their own. Along the way, they must also save their eccentric adoptive father, innocents, both human and non-human, and anyone who finds themselves caught between the conflict. The best part, the dialogue is quick-witted and often humorous, with a cast of characters who are relatively down to earth, whether Earth is the location of their origin or not. Conversations can be interactive as well, with prompts occasionally appearing for the player to select responses and stay engaged. Though enjoyable in its own right, the sometimes cynical comedy fodder is also brilliantly juxtaposed by a truly heartfelt story. It's almost like a 1980s Jim Henson movie brought to life on a PC instead of a movie screen. It's probably not worth spoiling anything here, but Young Souls is worth playing for the story alone. One thing's for sure, Young Souls is a rare gem and definitely worth being part of your gaming collection.